Hello everybody, Joel here from Golf Monthly. I hope you're well. You join me here at Burley Park Golf Club in Stamford, where I'm going to try in this video to answer the great debate between distance measuring devices. Which is better? Is it a laser rangefinder or a GPS device? And I've got what I believe to be two of the very best distance measuring devices in 2019. They are the new Bushnell Pro XE laser and the SkyCaddie SX500. Both packed full of great cutting edge features. We're going to touch on that in this video, but first of all I'd love to hear from you guys down below. Comment on the video. I'd love to know which type of distance measuring device do you use and why. Also, if you're new to the Golf Monthly YouTube channel, make sure you click the subscribe button, that way you won't miss any of our equipment videos, and of course click the like button if you like what you're watching. Now I'm going to break this video down into a few different categories to help your buying decision, help you understand the features and benefits of both of these types of devices, not only in general but also these specific devices as well. There are a lot of other different types of GPS devices and laser rangefinders. These are two of the very best. They come in at more premium price point. We'll touch on that later. You can get less expensive devices that don't have as many features, but for me, these are two of the very best. So offer everything that you would ever want from each of these types of distance measuring device. So without further ado, let's dive into the categories, starting with the all-important features. Starting with the Bushnell Pro XE laser. Now the big feature to talk about with this device is the slope with elements. So not only is it a slope adjusted laser taking into account changes in gradient to give you more accurate distances, this laser rangefinder goes a step further and compensates for temperature and altitude. I certainly noticed using the slope with elements laser that I was getting different distances than my current slope laser. So clearly those factors taken into account, temperature and altitude, do work, although I think they're only really relevant on golfers who play at very extreme times of the day, maybe in extreme climates and very hilly courses. If you tend to play a flat course with a fairly even temperature throughout the year, maybe you're not going to get the benefits of the Pro XE over lower price point lasers with slope functionality. That feature is of course illegal for competition use, and there's a button here on the side you can switch to disable it. I like how it's been made a bit stiffer so you don't knock it accidentally. It's also waterproof as well, and Bushnell have advanced the jolt feature here through the viewfinder, so when you press the button and pick out the flag from the background, you'll also get an extra line around the display screen to really let you know that that flag has been picked out. Of course it will vibrate as well, which gives you some reassurance and confidence that you know you've got the right distance. And the final feature to talk about with the Bushnell Pro XE is the bite feature. This is a magnetic section here on the back, which means you can clip it easily to things like your buggy frame. It doesn't actually connect to your trolley frame because that's made of aluminium and that's not a magnetic material, which is a shame, but you can attach it to a whole host of other different things. You can attach it to your fairway wood, your iron. If you tend to play in buggies a lot, clipping it on the frame of your buggy is going to be a lot more convenient for you than having to put it back in your bag every time, or putting it on the little dash area on your buggy where it can get scratched. It does come with a really nice carry case as well if that's the way you prefer to use it. So that kind of encompasses all the different features of the Pro XE. It's got an awfully good range, 7 times magnification. It can pick out a flag from 500 yards away, so you're not going to struggle picking out the flag on any hole or situation, providing you have line of sight, of course. Now moving on to the SkyCaddie SX500, this is absolutely ram-packed full of features. As you can see, it's got a smartphone look about it. It's got a rubberized kind of casing with some perforated sections to give you good grip if you do want to hold it. It does fit in your pocket very easily as well, which I've just demonstrated there. When it comes to the display itself, this is a 5-inch 13 megapixel display. The clarity of the hole maps is fantastic. You've got a movable pointer on there, so you can move the point on any of the aerial hole maps to see where you want to hit your tee shot to. You've got layup arcs, you can see where all the hazards are. You've got some icons along the bottom where you can scroll through different options depending on the view that you want to see. So you can go for the big numbers view, which gives you just simple front, middle, back distances to the green. You've got your hazards, so it gives you distances to reach and carry hazards in a sort of list format, which is really useful. And of course, the big feature with this for me is that you have the option to input the pin positions before you play. Now, There's two ways you can do it. The main way golfers I think are going to do it is if they get a pin sheet and then they can go through the different holes and move the pointer. It's a touchscreen interface, so you can move the pin location on the green, scroll through all the different holes, do it for every hole, click save, and then when you go to play on the course, you will have exact distances to the pin position rather than the middle of the green, which is a common limitation of GPS devices, is that they only give you distances to the front, middle and back of the green compared to laser rangefinders, which give you more precise distances to the flag. But it does rely on getting a pin sheet before you play, which I know a lot of golf clubs don't offer. There is another way, it's called the partner gateway, where clubs will automatically upload the pin positions to the Sky Golf website, and then because it has built-in Wi-Fi, it will automatically download those pin positions to your device. But this is very much in its infancy. It's unlikely it's going to be available for you at the moment, but do check it out if you do own a SkyCaddie SX500. For me, if I was to compare the features between the two, I think you have to make a decision about A, whether you play in a lot of competitions, and B, if you play a lot of different courses. If you play a lot of different courses, kind of new courses to you, the information on the SkyCaddie SX500 is going to be really useful to you because you're unfamiliar with the hole, what lies ahead, especially if there's some blind tee shots, blind approach shots, you don't know what hazards lay ahead. This SkyCaddie will give you that, of course, with the aerial hole maps. And then if you can add in those pin positions or manually move them based on where you can see the pin position to be on your upcoming shot. For example, here where I play at Burley Park Golf Club, we have colour-coded pins for front, middle and back. So if you see you've got a back plug, you can move the pin position on the green to give you a little bit more accuracy. Although that said, most amateur golfers would be best served for hitting the middle of the green and then rather than chasing tight pins, but that's another story. So look, for the information you get, I think you do obviously get a bit more with the SkyCaddie, but this obviously doesn't take into account things like temperature, altitude and slope, which the Bushnell does. So I think if you tend to play a lot of non-competitive rounds, the Bushnell possibly would be the way to go because you've got those extra features there to give you accurate distances. Obviously it's pros and cons, both of them have an excellent load of features, and it just depends on the type of golf you play and how often you play. Once you've used the laser rangefinder for a while, it is a pretty simple, easy device to use, doesn't take a lot of time at all, and with that jolt feature working really quickly, it doesn't take a lot of time at all to locate the flag. The SkyCaddie takes a bit of time to move the pointer to where you want it to go, but it doesn't take a lot of time. And obviously the Bushnell is just stored in your carry case, so you can be a little bit of faff getting it in and out of your carry case, whereas with the SkyCaddie SX500, you can mount this using an accessory holder onto your trolley, and that makes it a lot easier. You don't even need to take it off. You can literally just glance at the unit to see how far you've got to the middle of the green, pick your club and off you go. So it really depends how much you want to use the features on the SkyCaddie. If you want to use them a lot more in depth, that's going to take a bit more time, whereas the Bushnell is pretty straightforward in terms of getting the distance. You literally just press the button, the distance will flash up and away you go. So in terms of ease of use, they're both very easy to use. You could argue our GPS watch is even easier to use because it's obviously you're wearing it, you literally just turn your wrist to see how far you've got to the middle of the green and off you go. I'm not a big fan of GPS watches personally, but I know a lot of golfers out there are. So again, that's just down to your personal preference in terms of which one is more convenient for you. So for me, I would probably lean towards a laser just because I'm more used to using a laser rangefinder at the moment, but there really wasn't much in it at all. Okay, so the final category we're going to talk about in this video is value. Now, value means certain things to different people. It really depends on how much use you're going to get out of all the features that are on either of these devices. Now, the SkyCaddie does come in at a slightly lower price point. This is $379.95 compared to the Bushnell Pro XE, which is $449.95. So this Bushnell is a little bit more expensive, but the SkyCaddie does have an annual membership fee. The first year is free, and then after that, I think it's just under £30 a year for the Birdie membership, which gives you access to all the courses, which are of course ground verified on foot by SkyCaddie employees, so they don't use Google Maps or anything like that. You know, these are very specific, very accurate yardages on this SkyCaddie. So I think it kind of comes back to the ease of use category earlier in terms of how much of these features are you going to use. If you play a lot of practice rounds or non-competitive rounds, and you want accurate distances to the flag, the Bushnell Pro XE laser is a great option. If you tend to play a lot of different courses, maybe it's a very hilly course and you've got a lot of blind tee shots, the SkyCaddie is going to be a bit more effective because lasers use line of sight, whereas the SkyCaddie will obviously give you an aerial view of the course on the whole map. So that's something to consider. It does require a direct view of the sky, so if you hit it in the trees, it could take a few more seconds to give you the accurate distance, but of course Bushnell laser rangefinders also need a line of sight. If you're in the trees, you're probably not going to be able to get a line of sight to the flag anyway, so both of these are relatively ineffective in the trees, but you've got a few years of membership with the SkyCaddie before you equal the cost of the Bushnell Pro XE. It's a difficult one to weigh up. Both of them offer an exceptionally high level of features. It is an investment in your game. Both of them are going to be very accurate out on the golf course. So really think about the features that these offer and how much you would use them. If you'd use the features that justify the price tag more on one than the other, then that is clearly the way to go. You're going to get more for your money. You could argue that the SkyCaddie does offer a little bit extra than the Bushnell. You know, you can keep your score on here, it's got a camera as well, so it does offer a little bit more variety in terms of the features. You've just got to weigh up how much you're actually going to use them. So that concludes my kind of GPS versus laser test. I've actually been very impressed with using the SkyCaddie, even though I'm actually a laser user myself. I don't tend to use GPS devices, but if I was going to convert to a GPS, it would definitely be one like the SkyCaddie. The level of information you get from it is exceptional. You know they're going to be accurate. It's very quick to update. There's a lot of features on here that I would use. I wouldn't mind keeping my score on it. I love the whole view maps. They're very clear, very bright, easy to read. But as a laser rangefinder user, I probably would stick with my Bushnell laser. I actually don't play a lot of non-competitive rounds, so I'm not sure the extra features on the Bushnell would be relevant to me. So maybe I would stick with my lower price point laser. There are a lot of great lower price point lasers out there. Precision Pro do a fantastic entry level laser, which from my testing has been very, very accurate, and the battery life has been pretty good on it as well. So that's really easy to use. But if you're looking for the best of the best in terms of laser rangefinder technology, the Bushnell Pro XE laser is the way to go, and that's probably the way I would go in this test, but there really wasn't much in it. Thank you for watching, I really appreciate it. Make sure you click the like button if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But for now, from Burley Park Golf Club here in Stamford, it's goodbye.